Time to slide on down because the next person we have out is one of my friends who got me into this mess of a podcast, and here's my payback for him. Ladies and gentlemen, one of those ETAs out there that's also a Tupelo champion, Mr. Alex Mitchell. Goodness gracious, these walkout songs, interestingly chosen.
I don't know why they picked that.
I don't either. Well, too bad you didn't Shazam that one, because if you're not familiar with it. An Elton John classic from back in the day. It was on the Island Girl 8-track, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
It's you've been back there, I'm sure, listening to what all's going on out here, and you know that we are completely full of it. Welcome here to finally set us straight on what's going on. And, you know, for you, I don't know that I've ever asked you the question of how did you discover Elvis in your life?
Well, my grandparents raised me. So, like a lot of people in the audience, I grew up with Elvis, listening to Elvis. Yeah. And they took me to Legends in Concert in Myrtle Beach. And I saw Ryan Pelton. He was my first Elvis. And, hey, take it easy. All right? No, he was amazing. And I was like, wait, that's a job?
Yeah.
And that was it. I mean, I was probably 12 years old. I was like, yes, let's do this.
Yeah. Now, what did the people around you, because in my school growing up, I was just kind of known to be the Elvis person. Mm-hmm. And I think all of us kind of carry that with us in life, wherever we are, in work or in school, that you're were you your school's Elvis person at that time?
Briefly, because I started into it, and then I realized maybe the whole Elvis hair isn't the best idea for high school. So that went away for a little bit, and right out of school I went back into the Elvis thing. But the nickname was Elvis, even with the regular hair.
There you go. They didn't understand.
No, not at all.
You saw a career. Mm-hmm. Did you see a career? Really, truly? Did you see, like, because of Ryan, because of this is a job?
No, I never fathomed that this would be my full-time career.
Yeah.
And support me,
So how long did you come to Memphis for Elvis Week and go to competitions, see competitions before you started competing?
The only thing we had was the Elvis Festival in Myrtle Beach, and Legends put that on for a while, and they would have an ultimate qualifier. That was my only exposure into the contest world. And then when I finally got into an Elvis contest, I was like, yeah, I really shouldn't be here yet. But we did okay.
Yeah. Well, it's all a learning process, you know. Do you have a first gig story of someone that actually hired you to come perform?
Yeah, somebody asked me if I would do their grandmother's birthday party, and she's a huge Elvis fan. She was not a huge. She liked Elvis, but she was not a huge Elvis fan. So it's really awkward. We can sing in front of like 3,000 people, and it doesn't faze us at all. But you put me in a room with just 5 random people and some poor old broad in a chair, and I'm singing to her. It's as awkward for me as it was for her, I'll put it that way, yeah.
And Ben wouldn't sing Suspicious Minds, so Ben's doing Mary in the Morning and stuff like that, so. I love the horror stories, don't you? I mean, you see them out here on stage, and they're all having fun, and everything's polished, and they've got their set list, and they've thought it out, and the band's spot on. But these horror stories are the ones that, and somehow you got up the next day and says, I'm gonna do that again.
We're gonna keep doing it, yeah. It's the abuse that builds character, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you can sing like that in front, if you can win them over.
You can win anybody over.
You can win it over, yeah. For you, being a performer and being a tribute artist, when did the contests enter into it? Because you're doing your gigs like that, and when did you say, I wanna try to do that?
Well, I looked at contests as more of like, I didn't care if I won, I just wanted people to know who I was.
Yeah.
So for me, and even still, especially any young ETA, a contest should be a marketing investment. You're going on stage in front of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, and if they didn't know who you were, they do now. So they're gonna find you online, and they're gonna follow you, and hopefully come to your show, or buy a CD or t-shirt, and that's what it was for me. Yeah.
And you bring up an interesting point then, because of the podcast that you pitched to Jeff and myself, the Tupelo Tom and Big Lou Talkin'.
On Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
That's right. Wherever you consume your podcasts, available on RCA Records and Tapes. You've really become the person that's plugged us into the technology of social media. What you said about it's a marketing tool. It's to build your fan base, to meet people, and to grow that. And tell us some of the things that you've done for yourself and for the podcast that have the tools in the arsenal that are available that my generation, frankly, I just don't have the wherewithal to find out what's going on. It's lucky I'm still on Facebook. Listen, when you're on Facebook with your 93-year-old mother, you're not really cutting the edge of technology, you know? My dream is to next year for my mother and I to be on Social Security at the same time. I think that would be the coolest to the government, don't you? Like, hey, you're paying for both of us. Actually, we're paying for us because that was my money to begin with. But, sorry, I don't want to go off on that tangent. Talk about...
What was the question?
Exactly, I'm going to recap that. I'll do what I do on the podcast. So talk to us about, and he cuts all that stuff out. You never knew I went off on a tangent. Social media and building your brand as a performer.
It's just a matter of, you stay consistent, you post, let people know you're, alive. That was harsh, wasn't it? Hence the song. Connecting with people is the biggest thing. You can post all you want, but if people just comment and like, oh, it's wonderful, and that just sits there, they'll be like, oh, you don't talk to me, so I'm not going to talk to him. So that's a big thing. And I assume they see our posts in between the posts that people share that says, if you don't share this, God's going to burn your house down in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Those aren't real at all. Instagram is another thing. My following isn't. I'm going to do this here, okay? Who has Instagram here? Who has Facebook? There it is. So my demographic is strange. So thanks to the movie, I have more TikTok and Instagram followers because we've attracted a newer audience and a younger audience.
Yes, exactly.
And that's going to continue this thing that we're doing. It'll continue the legacy of Elvis. So Instagram, TikTok. This kid on TikTok is he's good with the TikToks.
I don't know how to do TikTok still.
I would enunciate the tick and talk a little
TikTok?
better. Yeah.
TikTok?
Yeah. You told me, I was unaware that, notice how I don't pay attention to what's going on. I was unaware that fans had taken Gates of Graceland episodes and chopped them up and put them on TikTok, because you told me that, like, you're very big on TikTok.
No, you really are. We have people... Cult following of Tom Brown and Angie Marchese with who's seen Gates of Graceland? All right, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube, type in Gates of Graceland. It's Tom Brown for 20 minutes or so, sometimes 30, a little longer, and him and Angie get to go in the archives and they pull out artifacts, and there's an interview with you and Jerry, and people have found this, and that's helped talking a lot. But yeah, you're all over TikTok, man.
And you sent one to us the other day. Tell them about Kenzie that you found.
There is a girl named Kenzie Cormick on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and she has like 20,000 followers, and all she posts is Elvis content consistently. And she was nice enough to put together a TikTok that just it blew me. We should have had it, but it blew me away. It's just amazing, and that's how people find out what's going on.
Well, it's just a way to keep the message out, and the thing I love about it is it's, even if we're invited, it's about Elvis. It's about bringing Elvis to more people, and that's what I think is so amazing about it. And for you, the producing that you're doing on our podcast, you're wrangling in two guys that can bounce off the walls with ideas, and somehow you're able to keep us focused. So we really appreciate that. And I hope you are, we try to produce these podcasts for people to listen to, like on their way to a festival, or maybe when you've left a festival. We have reviews and previews of festivals, but we also have a lot of other content about Elvis that we like to talk about. So we just launched one, dropped one.
Good job.
Thank you. You told me they don't just come out, they drop. So they drop out of the sky from the cloud, I believe. They're from the cloud. That's the cloud they're talking about.
Do you know what the cloud is yet?
We don't. Alex does, but he can't explain it to me because my generation can't understand that. But you just dropped one yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah. I was backstage. They were setting up, and I was backstage putting a podcast together. But it's episode 6.
Episode 6
is out now.
That's right. Return of the Jedi.
No, it's called Stepping Out of Line.
Stepping Out of Line. We also reviewed back a couple of episodes ago Agent Elvis.
Yeah.
And we decided in our way that we weren't going to comment on the content of Agent Elvis because we found out that Agent Elvis was somewhat split in what people thought about it. That Elvis would love it or Elvis would hate it or they hated it or they loved it and the language was bad and this and that. So we decided what we were going to do is we were just going to talk about all the Elvis connections within the series and what was true and kind of the references. So that's how we did it. And that episode is called Too Much Monkey Business. Yeah. Because it's about, there was Scatter was in it.
The breakout star of Agent Elvis is Scatter the monkey.
You know, might get his own spin-off series.
What a terrible monkey he was.
He was a bad monkey.
Golly.
Yeah, there's the quote of the night, by the way. He was a bad monkey.
What a bad monkey.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
We will see you this weekend singing. Yeah. And I can't ask you any wig questions because, ladies and gentlemen, he looks like that in the morning naturally. Look at him. Look at him.
Thank you. And me and Ben are the same age.
Wow. It's true. I know. I did send him a text message.
I've never seen a man deflate before.
Wait.
I did send him a text message. I said, "Do you mind showing me how to do your hair? Because I wanted a few tips for my wig." And that's not weird. We talk about that sort of thing. And straight away he was like, "Yeah, no problem. We'll get together and we'll have a whole couple of hours going through brushing hair and everything." And I'm excited about it.
Well, my favorite text was today. You said, "Do you have a hair dryer?" And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
The thing about Ben, they asked Ben one time, "Ben, how long does it take you to do your hair?" And Ben said, "I don't know. I'm never there." So... I stole that from Dolly Parton. But it fits. So, Alex, thank you for being here. We'll scoot everybody down the sofa.
Thank you, Tom.